Okay, we can call the January 26th, 2026 Public Property and Law Enforcement Committee open. Roll call
Laura Negro,
here.
James Schultz,
Here.
Paul Wilhelm,
Here.
That's it. Approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions, corrections, or just love the agenda the way it is?
Wilhelm will make a motion to approve the agenda. Jim will second.
There we go. We got all the participation. There's nobody else. So I have a first and a second, so the agenda passes. Public comments. I do not see anybody in the gallery and online. I don't think there was anybody else out there. If somebody would pop up, we can take some public comments for 3 minutes, but seeing nobody right now, we'll move on. First one, review of quarterly financials.
They're not doing too bad. They are a little bit over budget. This year's had some additional expenses. All the revenues are still not in. We don't anticipate having all revenue in until the end of February. And the same holds true for every other department. Usually it takes a while for stuff to come in, especially like state funding and in the case of HHS, Medicaid funding and all that. So we do expect the numbers to be closer, although they may be slightly over budget by the end of the year, by the time everything's closed down.
Brian, did you want to highlight anything that you think we should see?
No, like Dan said, waiting on the revenues. I know we just, as unexpected, but we did get another, Bad River had a grant for the last 2 years they applied for a law enforcement grant, and they gave that to us. I just picked it up last week from the chairwoman out there for 146,000. So like Dan said, they'll close the distance of a little over budget. If we are, it's mostly medical out of the jail. There was a couple people that required very expensive shots for their conditions. So.
Okay, if we could just highlight it at the next meeting, the comparison for this quarter then. Did anybody else have any questions?
Yes,
guys
I
are
have a
too-
question. This is Rich Huber.
Hey, there's somebody. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah. Hi. Staying warm?
Trying.
Okay. I just got a simple question. It's probably really simple to answer. But why is the restitution forfeiture, why is that in a minus?
Restitution forfeiture. Because, sorry, just looking at here. 000.
That should just be a reduction of what we had in there.
Yeah, because it's unallocated money. So it's actually a positive amount of money, but it shows up as negative. Revenues show up as negative.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say if it's forfeiture, it should be a positive. The money should be there. But
Right. If you look at the third column and the end balance, it says it's a positive.
Is it? Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks then.
Yep. Yeah. It's just when we enter stuff into Springbrook, revenues we can enter as a negative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sure.
Any other questions from anybody? All right, easy peasy. Next is courthouse maintenance update.
Well, the boiler's been running good. We had one mishap with it, one of the last warm-ups, fortunately. It didn't end up costing us anything. One of the feed water pipes sprung a leak, just of old age, but it was fixed in a couple hours, so we're good there. We did have a sewer main backup last week that was pretty bad. All the bathrooms to the east side of the stairwell had to shut down for a day and a half. But haven't got the bill for that yet, but we did manage to get it undone. Got some articles of clothing out of there and, you know. But we got it done and it's back in order. As far as that goes, I mean, just chugging along, hoping we go through the rest of the winter without any issues with the boiler, so that's our main goal.
I don't even know what to say about the clothing. So,
People throw weird stuff down
I
the
just-
toilet.
do we have to put a sign up? Please don't throw any unused clothing
Well,
in the toilets.
We do have a sign up.
I don't know if it's somebody upset from upstairs and they're leaving for the
Right?
day or what, but it's some of the things that
Take that
I've
around and go,
I've
this is
found
yours, is this
it's-
yours?
it's absolutely ridiculous, some of the stuff I've pulled out of them, so
Yeah,
hopefully it stays clean. No one puts anything in there again for a bit.
So otherwise, pretty much that was what was blocking everything?
It helped. There was
Okay.
years of sediment buildup in we ran a camera down there and we could see where the issue was also stemming from, but we took a afternoon and a better part of a day with two different augers, or I'm sorry, 4 total, 2 different augers and 2 different water jets to get it going.
Wow.
And we're lucky it got going because it was so cold out. They had their machinery outside and it was almost freezing up on us before we could get it to go, but we got it, so that's good.
Is there some preliminary checking we should do on the not closed down bathrooms to make sure that they're cleaned out, or did we get everything?
So I think with that piece of clothing in there too, kind of just helped
Yeah,
stop it up. But the old drain system from the gutters up on the roof
mhm.
used to go into the same as the sewer. They're capped off now in the attic. But so we think maybe because it did back up, it worked its way up that pipe and brought old debris down
Okay,
to where it comes out of the bathroom and drops straight down instead of like a 45 angle. So they think it was building up right there and got to the point where it clogged that whole side.
nice.
So, but the cameras showed it clear going by. So I think we should be good for
Tell somebody else.
for a
to buy
long
some
time
new
until
clothing.
someone shoves something else down there. But
Fun. Anything else besides, any other preventative stuff maybe we should do with the boiler, or is the boiler just, are we on hopes and prayers for that?
I say that just because you never know with everything that's unseen in the walls. But Grant, our boiler guy, he actually came through when that had sprung a leak, and everything else seems to be going well. Our feed water tank's all new. Chemical system's new. That's been a little trickier because of the size of the feed water tank, but hopefully we'll have her dialed in a little bit better for next heating season,
Yeah,
being this the first one with the small tank. But we, unfortunately still have to come in every weekend to deal with it, but I don't think there's any way around that. So
We also replaced a bunch of the tubes inside the boiler a couple years ago.
yeah, that was my
Yeah.
first year here. Yeah,
I
Yeah.
was gonna say,
over
So-
20 of them. So
feels like a while ago now.
it does.
Yeah. So at that time, they said the boiler is going to last another 30 years.
Oh, who is that, and did we get a signature?
The
Well,
boiler itself is actually one of the best, they say, because everything on it is replaceable and fixable, where
Nice.
the newer ones are not. It's what makes me nervous is more out in the field, through the building, in the walls that
Yeah, piping.
pipes like that
Yeah,
that are buried, where the one on the side of the boiler sprung a leak and it's cast iron pipe and it was,
yes.
just squirting out of it. So luckily it's a very low pressure steam system. And so that helps too, where it's a lot higher pressure going into the boiler. But
So when it pops on a wall, it'll be a slow drip, so.
well, it'll be a slow drip, but I'm sure we'll fight it.
Uh, Okay, any questions? Rich, you got anything? All right, Sheriff's Department report.
For this past quarter of patrol information, we had 49 arrests. 222 year-to-date. Citations, 76, 569 year-to-date. Complaints to investigate, 185, 740 year-to-date. And calls for service, 1,502. And year-to-date, 6,673. Again, as far as the sheriff's office, like I said, we didn't expect it, but Bad River gave us that check. They apply for that law enforcement tribal grant. They don't have to, but they do. Like the one we apply for, that shows their calls for service and what we handle in Bad River. They're going to continue applying for that. They apply for 26. Once we, spend, and that one will be 66,000. We'll get another one this year, so that helps almost fund one deputy. Other than that, I mean, as far as sheriff's patrol reports, that's about it. I can move on to the jail when you're ready.
You want the Jamar thing?
What did you say, Dan?
Do you want the Jamar thing?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's complete. I didn't know if that was in a different part of the agenda. As far as everything, that's pretty much wrapped up. The last thing they did is put in, cooling in the kitchen, which they never had, which was, tough for them in the summer times. Getting pretty hot in there. Everything's running better than it ever has. I mean, less complications. Our biggest thing right now is we got to sit down with our maintenance worker, Raul. And as far as where the settings are at throughout the building, sometimes they got to be different, whatnot, throughout the jail compared to our administration side. And that's the only thing. Like I said, it's better than we've ever had it before. And that just completed. I think they're still doing a little bit of work late yet, but it's pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be done at the end of the week.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully it lasts another 30 years.
Anyone have any questions for Brian on the jail or, yeah, we're in jail report, right? Sheriff's
Yeah,
Department report.
Jim here, you were talking about everything pretty much complete, this past week or so to give you a good test, everything
Yep.
operating as should and
Very
no
toasty.
issues.
Yep.
Okay, that's the only thing I had.
Any other questions online? Okay, we can go on to the jail report.
Brian just did that. He reversed the order.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I did, that was the patrol
Sure.
information I did before. I can do the jail, the bookings and everything.
Yeah,
For bookings, this past quarter, 132, year-to-date, 521. Daily average held in facility, 39, year-to-date, 41.25. Daily average held and monitor, 2, year-to-date, 1.5. Daily average boarded, 0. Total daily average, 41, year-to-date, 42.75. MAP program, we don't have that anymore. Transportation, number of mental health transports for this quarter, 1, year-to-date, 6. Hours, 11.5, year-to-date, 57.5. Mileage, 608, year-to-date, 2820. Number of juvenile transport, 0. Transportation breakdown of warrants, wants, and miscellaneous. Number of warrants, wants, and miscellaneous transports, 13, year-to-date, 61. Hours, 100.5. Mileage, 5,167, year-to-date, 26,889. Transport totals for this quarter, 14, year-to-date, 83. Hours, 112, year-to-date, 761. Mileage, 5,775. Year-to-date, 38,615. Current number of boarded inmates, 0. Current number of inmates on monitor, 1. Current inmates by race, Native American 14, Hispanic 3, African American 4, white 16, total 37. And that's all I have for the jail.
Questions? With the transportation, that's all 2 deputies at a time, taking people where they gotta go and such?
Usually, most of the time, yes.
Is it cheaper for us to do it, or is it cheaper to contract with the service to do it?
It's cheaper, a lot cheaper for us.
Okay,
The private,
yeah,
we do that in desperation when we have nobody available, but it's very expensive.
yeah. Is there a way to call up old ex-employees to have them transport?
Yeah, we have 2 retired deputies right now that are officer and deputy, so.
I know, it's probably all stuff you've already thought of already, but, you know. The charges that people are being brought up on, is it normal smattering of stuff or anything in
Yeah, it's a
particular?
variety. I mean, it's winter months, it's nothing, it's not high like, the summer months, but, it's a variety of everything, domestics,
Okay.
OWIs, drugs. Yeah, it's just a variety of everything. It's not as bad as it was as far as the drug scene, but it's still there. I mean, it seems like it's slowing down a little bit, but it goes in spurts too.
Yeah. Is there anything on the horizon that you think I mean, besides protests and such like that, anything in particular that you're watching out for or planning for?
Right now, like I said, it's if the protests happen, the speculation of that, just having the right equipment and guys trained in it, for crowd control. We don't know yet. As far as what's going on between Enbridge and Bad River. I know there was conversation, but I guess
Yeah.
we're just trying to be prepared and wait.
Lots of de-escalation stuff taught too?
Yeah.
Okay, I can stop asking you questions now. Is there any? Yeah, yeah. Is there anything you'd like the committee to be aware of?
That should be it.
Okay. Next, emergency management report.
Well, I got a question. How are you on, labor as far as, job vacancies, or everybody filled, or?
Patrol, we're almost fully staffed. We have to fill a recreational spot. Jail, we have, I think, 3 openings around there. We had a couple people retire. So it's not horrible. We've had a lot worse. Doing pretty good. As far as dispatch across the bay, I believe they're fully staffed. So it's been getting a lot better. I think wages have increased a little bit, which is helping compared to a couple of years ago where it was a lot worse. So,
Ready, set, go, Christina.
Okay. Our hazard mitigation plan is completed. EPCRA and EMPG grants, that's the yearly ones we do every year. The EPCRA grant is due at the end of the week. All the offsite plans have been updated and submitted to Wisconsin Emergency Management. So that'll be done, in the next day or 2. I have it half completed currently. EMPG grants, as of the government wasn't for sure if they were gonna pay out on EMPG, which is a portion of my wages. So it was on hold, and normally we would have heard already and applied for next year's funding. It just came back through a lawsuit that they can't withhold the funding that they already promised. So as far as I know, we're going to get our EMPG funding for last year. And they haven't released any applications for the 2026 until they figure out what's going on with FEMA. So we will get our funding for last year, and fingers crossed that they figure it out and we can get our funding for the upcoming year. They said not to expect it until April or May, but at least we're getting something for last year. Outreach, not a whole lot in the last couple months. The town of Marengo attended one of my outreach sessions about go bags, and they received a mini grant so they could have their own outreach in the town of Marengo. So I've helped them. We meet about once a month to plan these events. They got enough funding for 6 different ones. So we did a go bag one in the town of Marengo. Just last week, we did power outage preparedness. Next month, we have fire prevention and home safety that we're doing. And they're also starting the town association meetings in the county. And they had one a couple months ago, and the one that's coming up just got switched to February. And we are going to, or they're going to do a presentation just about what their town is doing as far as preparedness.
Nice.
And we're hoping to have other towns jump on board and want to do that as well. And I'm more than willing to go there and do these like pre-planned presentations that we've been doing. So that's kind of exciting. I did have some outreach funds left over this past year, so I was able to buy some fire blankets that I will be just gifting or raffling away when we do have these preparedness events, just for the people that come. I was able to get a really good deal on them if you buy in bigger quantities than a couple. So these are all over. If you watch, there's a million videos, but any like type of fire you have on your stove, you can throw it over and it smothers it instead of the fire extinguisher. And you can hang it just inside of your cupboard door, wherever. And I talked to the fire department just before I purchased anything, because I was like, are these even a good thing? And they all raved about them. So I'm hoping to do fire prevention this year. Every year we pick a new topic. Megan and I from Bayfield kind of do a lot of this outreach stuff together, just because our counties are so close and there's only one of us in each county. So we pair up and I help her with outreach. She helps me with outreach. So this year we decided to do like fire preparedness or home fire preparedness. So these will come in handy for that. As far as training, I've completed all the know before internet trainings that we get assigned. I'm totally up to date on my WEM training. Meetings, I've attended all of the grant required trainings through Wisconsin Emergency Management. I've attended the Fire Association meetings and EMS Council meetings. We had interoperable radio planning sessions for the last few months. Myself, the chief deputy, and Erica Haneke, the grant person, and we submitted a grant, I think last week, the week before, for $50,000 to the state. We held our annual LEPC meeting, and that is required in the grants. I was elected an alternative representative for the WEMA board from the Northwest region. So I have to attend those meetings once a month. As far as grants and funding, as you guys know, we reapplied for the Senator Baldwin's congressional direct spending this past year. And as far as I know, it's been approved with the exception of the president's signature we're waiting on.
Yeah, that'll happen by the end of the month. The bill passed both houses of Congress already.
So if that gets signed, we'll be receiving our 3.1 million to redo our radio infrastructure so we can get all new equipment on the towers and we can go to become daily users on the, oh my gosh, Wiscom.
I was gonna say,
Which
it's right there.
will which will be a huge step in the right direction. And our radios are a hot mess, and I'm very much looking forward to working on this and getting the deputies and our EMS folks some better radios. And so that's exciting. And other than that, that's about all.
And then I'll do this little update on the AMPG funding. So FEMA is part of the Department of Homeland Security. So while that funding bill did pass the House last week, the Senate is scheduled to take it up probably tomorrow. They're not in session today. The problem is they likely don't have the 60 votes needed to pass, to break a filibuster. Democrats are not going to let them pass the bill unless there's more reforms for how ICE operates. So FEMA may not be funded as well as any of the DHS agencies at the end of the month. So there may be a mini shutdown, and this is wrapped up into it. So that EMPG grant, who knows if it's going to come out for this year at all, and what kind of delay there is.
Fun. Any questions for Christina on her presentation? Do you have a little summary that you can get to Dan so we can throw it online?
Sure.
Okay. She's like, sure.
My computer was broke, so I didn't get my full, normally I have 2 pages, but
That's why-
IT took a
that's why
minute.
I asked, because when I glanced over, I'm like, oh no, usually you've got one and you're turning it over, so. All right, if there's no questions, we can move on to the meeting minutes from October 27th, 2025. Questions, changes? Happiness?
Wilhelm will make a motion to approve the Public Property and Law Enforcement Committee meetings, October 27th, 2025.
Jim will second.
There we go. Teamwork makes the dream work. So, motion in a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Next meeting date. Usually it's April. right?
Yeah, can we tentatively set it? Because I don't
can
know if there's going to be a
tentatively
committee then. Because reorg is in April and typically we don't do the committees till May.
Well, you would think we would be able to do those committees earlier.
Well, I think we could, except this is a county board chair appointment and not an administrator appointment.
Yeah,
Like I fully plan to appoint the HHS committee at reorg,
right.
but this is a board chair appointment, so could we tentatively schedule for the 27th?
Is that the last?
And then, I can,
27th of April.
yeah, I could tentatively talk to the chairman about appointments, but again, we won't know if he's chairman until after reorg.
Yeah,
So,
set it at the 27th at noon, tentatively. Sounds wonderful. Wunderbar.
and I take it everybody wants to be back on this committee?
Nobody's going to complain on Mike.
Okay, if you have a complaint, just email me. Otherwise, we'll see if we can get all 3 of you appointed and get 2 more.
Yeah. All right, otherwise it's the adjourn, and we really don't need to have any kind of motion because that means we ran out of agenda, so. So the meeting's all done. Look at that, half an hour, boom.